Woodland, once you get into August, and certainly from the middle of July, it becomes like this. Regardless of the noise from the traffic, loud wood here is pretty much quiet. There's the odd bird call, but it's all contact calls now. Territorial song by male chiffchaffs and blackcaps has finished. It has for all birds, to be honest. But as some of you may know, I'm not a big fan of July and of August. There are aspects to August that I do like. But during the day, woodland can be such a quiet and dark place. And thinking back to how this particular spot was in spring, when all that was carpeted with bluebells, the brambles which now carpet the ground didn't have much of a leaf on them. But the bluebells are long gone now, just straw-coloured stems. You'd hardly know what this area was. And it's not just the bluebells, of course, wood anemones as well. But what a different picture it was back in May. And the canopy is different as well. The canopy is thicker and darker. And that lends a very different air to proceedings and features on the woodland floor. To be honest, it seems quite lifeless, and there's certainly more activity in general, I think, during the early spring and in the autumn. A lot of insects now are in the larval stage, so they're not very active. There's still plenty of insects about, yeah, but in general, it seems quite quiet. And the rains that we've had here in Nottinghamshire in these last month, July, has been extremely wet. And August has started very much in the same vein, to be honest. And that's had an effect, a very different effect to the hot weather and dry weather of last year. Quite the opposite, in fact. So the woodland in July and August, as we are now, has a very quiet feel. Now that helps the fact that we have a glimpse of sun. That puts a different light, appropriately enough, on proceedings. Brings the insects out. Those insects that once the sun had been clouded over promptly took up rest, waiting for the next sunny interlude. But now the sunlight creates a wonderful dappled effect on the leaves. Most of the understory here in Lownwood is hazel. And the larger trees are quite a considerable mix, actually. There's an oak here and more oaks there. There's numerous pines, a lot of beech, formerly some elm. There still are some elm, but the elm now is restricted to scrubby, almost hazel-like growth. And now the sun's appeared and the blue sky's come, there's an incredibly noticeable hum of insects. That wasn't here. That's quite amazing. And I've not heard that before. I've heard the hum of insects, yes. Done several videos on that. But it was quiet 5 minutes ago. There was no buzzing and hum of insects. And now all of a sudden, it's just as though they've been switched on. That just shows the effect of a bit of sunshine. Has the same effect on people. If it's constantly cloudy and dull and raining, it literally dampens the spirit. But then get a bit of sun on your back and you feel totally different. It's almost like being recharged, I always think. But I can't believe how all of a sudden the woodlands come alive. Woodflies flitting round. Lots of hoverflies in these shafts of sunlight which are coming down through the trees. It's a different world. It's almost as if in the course of this 5-10 minute waffle, we've gone through 2 seasons. A season of dormancy and inactivity to a season of sound and movement and activity. That's all within the space of a few minutes, just standing and looking at the world around. How much we all miss by not looking.